What is happening, folks? Welcome to Gameplay, the eSports show that keeps you in the know of all things high school and university eSports. My name is Collins Manyame, aka Scarra in the eSports Beast. And today, we're going to be covering some memories from AGC once again, but alongside that, a bit of some lost memories and moments that we forgot about from Shift. And also, this week, I'm back with it. I'm giving you that amazing special guest interview later on. So, without any further ado, let's get right in. So jumping right into things, let's talk about the first one, which is our AGC memory. This one comes from the edgy specialist from ACGL that was on the ground at the event, talking on the success of it and also the schools that were involved. Let's take a look.
I'm ACGL's eSports specialist, Adam Thomas James. Coming into this event, it was mostly making sure the schools knew exactly what they were doing, where they had to be, and what registration process was like, and then also organizing with the public and them come together seamlessly. It felt amazing to have all the schools here. We had schools come from outside of the Western Cape, which is no small task. We had some schools driving down, we had some schools flying in, and it was absolutely fantastic to see the amount of support and trust that the schools have in ACGL, to be able to give them an event that their students would be happy with and have something that they can look forward to. With that being said, I think I would not be mistaken in saying that this is the biggest school event with the most amount of schools present in a LAN environment. And next year, I just want to keep going on that and make sure that we can get this as accessible as possible and get to as many schools as we can, bring in as many students as we can, and give them an equal opportunity to perform well, to be up on stage and do their best. My next step for esports in high school is to make sure 2025 goes amazingly. I'm extremely happy with the format. It's been changing a few times to suit schools, just so that we can make sure that it can be competitive but still accessible and flexible enough for the schools to take part in. Like I've just said, I'm very happy with how it's looking at the moment. So it's getting that calendar early to schools so they can plan, so they can budget, and making sure that they can play seamlessly. It's really nice stuff that we've added on top of that is coming in 2025, but getting that foundation solid and making sure that runs like butter every year, it's the first step. My highlight was definitely being able to speak to the teachers. A lot of the teachers chat to each other online, obviously sorting out games, fixtures, all of that. But getting them all in the same venue, putting a face to a name, it's been a fantastic experience because you really can meet like-minded people, and I'm looking forward to seeing how we can increase this next year. I look forward to seeing you at AGC 2025. Thank you for everything.
It's so cool to be able to still see some memories from this event because, as I've mentioned before, this event has really made an impression on so many people, and it's great that we can still have this conversation going on and on. But further from that, a few weekends back, we had the Shift gaming experience conclude, and alongside that, we saw some really amazing events take place at Shift. The first being the High School Rocket League exhibition between Edgemead, Kiro Durbanville, and PRG. Let's take a look at those scenes and see how awesome it was. Man, I'm gonna say this time and time again. seeing these schools be able to have exhibition games against each other, and I wouldn't say rivalries being created, but an opportunity for them to kind of practice and learn and improve, grow together is really amazing to see. And something amazing to see was another event that took place, and that was the Women in Esports panel that took place at Shift. We had 4 amazing women paving the way for the future of women esports and assisting in that group, talking on the space, shedding more light. And also alongside that, we had a really cool Dress to Impress competition and also an EAFC 24 exhibition game with the university ladies that were in attendance. Let's take a look at those amazing scenes. It warms my heart to see such scenes at the Shift Gaming Experience where we're getting to see women being more involved within the space, not really kind of isolated. They now can feel a part of it. And Rishka, big shout out to you actually, because she's someone who's been working behind the scenes, allowing for these types of panels and things to be happening at the Shift Gaming Experience. And unfortunately, she wasn't showcased in the video, but wherever you are, big shout out to you, man. But alongside that, starting next week, I have a brand new segment coming through and a very exciting one. It is going to be a Let's Play segment with local game devs. They're going to be showcasing their games and showcasing the beautiful craftsmanship they've conjured up with their team. So I hope to be seeing you guys next week tuning in, and I hope to be seeing you supporting them because they are the talent that are inspiring the younger generation to becoming the newer game devs for the newer generation. So as I've been mentioning, it is a bit of off-season. ASL and AUR leagues have kind of gone dormant. They're finished for the year, basically. And you'll only be seeing that next year. But that does not mean you cannot catch any of that action to come if you're following twitch.tv/African Esports or twitch.tv/Kuro Esports, because coming up this October, we will be having the Kuro National LAN. So I hope to be seeing you guys tuning in and witnessing the amazing and blockbuster action that will be coming through from these streams. But alongside that, just keep in tune with the show, and I'll always keep you plugged with any of the upcoming esports action. All right, now it's time to take a breather, take a short break, plug in our controllers. You know me, I'm a wash gamer, I need my break. But on the other side of this, I have a sit down with my very special guest. So I'll see you on the other side. What is happening, folks? Welcome back to the show. And now it is that time. Remember, I did promise you guys we're going to be back with our interviews. And now it is that time. Introducing my special guest, Naledi Matutwane, a.k.a. Androva. How you doing today?
Yes, Scara, I'm good.
I'm very excited to have you on the show. Finally, we can have this chat. And diving right into people who don't know potentially who you may be, introducing streamer and content creator Androva. From your initial blow up, you've boarded your rocket ship heading for the stars and haven't stopped reaching higher. You've been signed to brands in the past such as ATK and DNMK in the past as a creator. DNMK at the time, one of the premier orgs in the country, alongside the likes of Tender Plays, Snare, and Kaylee Kicks that you were signed with. You're also currently sponsored by Gigabyte, aka Oris, trying to count the amount of panels you've been on talking about the upliftment of not only women in esports, but people of color, and so much more. You've been the host for the Girl Gamer Cape Town Festival in the past, worked with some of the biggest brands locally, and you've been featured in NAG magazine. I mean, what a journey it's been so far, right?
I can't believe it, honestly. If you ask me, like, every now and then I'm just like, yeah, just chilling, just a streamer, and then you will go and write a paragraph like that, and I'll be like, oh, I did that.
It's amazing, but something I'm very curious about, what actually sparked your interest of getting into esports and then further diving deeper into the rabbit hole of, content creation and streaming?
I think generally it was probably during my varsity year. I previously hadn't really played games. I think all of us play games as kids, sure, your old PS, whatever it is. But after that, for some people, I guess it dies. For the rest of us, it goes like this. And I met a group of friends in varsity who played only League of Legends. And I got into the League of Legends esports scene back then. And that's when I started watching streamers on Twitch, because that's when I learned that was a thing. And I realized, I was like, I wonder if there's any South African streamers out there, because I think we're all used to seeing the internationals.
Yeah. I mean, stock standard for a lot of us.
Yeah. And I was like, I wonder if they're South Africans. And I found out, yes, there's a South African streaming community, but there's not many black women in it. So I was like, gosh, wish that could change. And I was like, oh, why don't I be part of the change?
I mean, that's fantastic. So kind of in a space where it's like, you know what? There isn't something here, and I want to be that change and kind of stepping in for that. So actually speaking on that now, you were the host of the Women in Esports panel at Shift Canal Walk recently. What are your thoughts on the importance of these panels in public spaces where you get to shine more spotlight on women in esports, especially seeing more of them now getting involved at a primary and high school level even?
For sure. I think it's one of those things where you always say representation matters. And it's such a small gesture, I suppose, to just have someone that you identify with in a space that you thought you couldn't go into. And these public events are great as well, because I think we're all hiding behind social media, behind Twitch. The algorithm is not going to take you to us if it doesn't know you want to see us. So public events where you're just in a space, people who might not even know about it but have a slight interest in it or lost a passion for it will see that as well and be like, okay, there's a spot for me out there.
And kind of when I think about that, do you think it's also sort of important for you to also sometimes share your experiences so that people can sometimes maybe relate to you and kind of have a bit of motivation to kind of keep going? Because I think sometimes that may be lost where you kind of feel like you may be alone with your experiences.
I think so, definitely. Something I always say to other women in gaming is you need to create a safe space around you because you need that support. And seeing someone, I suppose, in the same position as you say, that relatability helps so much. So.
Fantastic. So what are your aspirations for women in esports going forward in the near future? What would you like to see coming through from the space?
I think nothing hectic or profound, but I think if we can get to a spot where we no longer have to say women in esports, when it's the norm, it's not an outlier, you're not an outlier. If we can just get to that point, I think we'll be on a good track, I feel like it's a big dream sometimes, but there's baby steps being taken for it to get there.
I mean, for sure, we've had moments where it's like creators like you, Rushka, and many others, have been attending not only workshops, but also events at high schools, primary schools, all female schools, kind of trying to educate these young students that, hey, this is a possibility, or hey, things are rapidly changing. So it's
Yeah.
not necessarily the same norm potentially that, it's just a guy thing to game.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone can do it, right?
I mean, I think there's a stat out there that I saw not long ago, might have been the end of last year, but it's like 48% of women worldwide are gamers. You see, your reaction was my reaction.
Okay.
I did exactly the same thing because I was like, where are they? Why don't we see them? And I think it's literally just because we're so used to taking flack, I guess, online, whether it's like sexism, whatever it may be. We're so used to taking it online that we just like put ourselves in a corner and say, this is like my safe space and I won't get bullied online, whatever it is, and just mind your business, keep going. So we need to move beyond that point where we're all hidden behind our screens because we're scared and just get to the point where we're out there again.
Yeah, for sure. And do you think it is very important for sort of these lessons and sort of changes starting to happen at a grassroots level? So that being, having high school leagues or having esports inducted at a younger age for these young ladies to kind of learn more about the space and how to grow in it?
I think definitely, because I think for a lot of us, a lot of our hobbies, passions, whatever it may be, they were a dream that we once had as a kid, right? And if you put this possibility in someone's mind, obviously then cool. We're now opening the space to them. We're saying, you're allowed here. Come on in.
For sure. And one more thing is, what piece of advice would you give to a young female student who's potentially watching now and maybe wants to dive into the streaming space or the content creation space? How would you sort of advise them going about that in a sustainable and safe manner?
I think just a bit of what I said earlier, like create a safe space around you, whether it's friends, family, other streamers online, other content creators online, whatever it may be, because you're not going to get very far without a good support system, I think just gaming in general, content creation, like any other field of work, it can be quite mentally taxing, but I think even more so now because you're in the public eye and all of that. So just create your safe space, rely on them, and don't be afraid to make mistakes, I guess.
That's the biggest thing, right? But before I let you go, what's your favorite game?
My favorite game? Do I go with the right now or of all time?
Maybe all. Okay, maybe a bit of both. Maybe all of the time and then maybe currently.
Okay, so currently, let me start with currently. I'm addicted to Destiny 2 at the moment.
Ooh,
yeah. Used to play it a bunch, forgot about it, and then they just released the newest DLC, and I've been enjoying myself. And then of all time, I would probably say either one of the Spider-Man games or Death Stranding.
I'm surprised you actually didn't say League.
League, I know. I knew you were waiting. I knew you were waiting for League or Valorant to be up there.
I'll let it be. I'll let it be. But honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining on the show.
Thank you so much, Skara.
Awesome stuff. But honestly, from my side, it's actually great to be seeing people like you and Rishka and so many other women, trying to pave the way for, potential, for future of women in esports and seeing more of them kind of getting involved and inspired by you. So just from our side, it's really great to be seeing that coming through, and we really hope to be seeing more and more involvement.
Well, thanks. I'm glad you guys look up to me so well.
Awesome. But ladies and gentlemen, that has been the show. Thank you so much for joining us today. It has been an absolute pleasure, and it was great to be home again. But aside from that, this has been Gameplay. I have been Skara, and it's been an absolute pleasure. Catch you next week, same time, same place. Take care, stay safe, and GG's, gamers.